Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Diana Chavez of Unitar and Paul Dyke of Walmart.
Good afternoon, everybody, to our global audience here in the room in New York and digital. And thank you so much for this invitation. We have a great topic. We have a trending topic, global supply chains, resilient supply chains. And Paul Dyke, Vice President, Global Government Affairs of Walmart is here. And for the next minutes, we're going to be talking how supply chains have position in the agenda of decision makers, from the newsroom to the boardrooms. Certainly that geopolitical shifts have positioned the subject on many different environments, in the post-pandemic economic effects and the conflict in Ukraine have exposed the vulnerabilities of today's supply chain. But Paul, they have also made heroes of the teams that are on that daily agenda. Shall we start with that? I mean, why don't you share with us how you work with your teams, how you navigate with them in this dynamic context?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Diana, and glad to be here with everybody. Yeah, I mean, it's as you can imagine with Walmart's size, and maybe I'll start. You know, some people rightfully think of Walmart as a U.S. company. It is our home market and our biggest market, but we operate globally. So Walmart is in 20 plus countries, Canada, Mexico, Central America, Africa, India, China, and then dozens more countries where we've got supply chain operations. Disruptions, you mentioned all of them, which we don't need to go into, have a really significant impact on us serving the customers. So Walmart serves 250 million customers in different formats every week in our stores, and supply chains are critical to serving those. And the people, whether it's people at Walmart, whether it's suppliers, whether it's people in factories, people have done heroic work during the pandemic and during all of these disruptions. Last thing I'll say about it, from a Walmart perspective is, if you're in the U.S., we're Walmart. If you're in some other markets, you'll see Walmart, but we operate in a lot of different formats, small formats, different banners, different names. And for Walmart International, we kind of, we describe our philosophy in the markets of strong local businesses powered by Walmart. The strong local businesses part being, everywhere we operate, we've got local teams running a business to create long-term sustainable growth in a way that particular customers in that particular market like to be served. Powered by Walmart where Walmart brings the capabilities, the expertise, the scale to bring new capabilities, new understandings, new learnings to that market and create opportunities. And supply chain is a great example of that.
And Paul, you just mentioned that you are certainly a global company. You serve a wide range of consumers in a variety of cultures, contexts, political, economic. And let's take, for example, India and Mexico. How do you make sure that those local suppliers are included in your global supply chain?
Yeah, it's a critical part, and I'm going to take one step back and then directly answer your question. And one thing, if you've ever spent any time with somebody from Walmart, Diana, is if we're talking about our purpose or our values or how we contribute it to society, you're going to get a Sam Walton reference. And Sam Walton is the founder of Walmart. And the reason I mention that, and Walmart is 60 years old this year, but our purpose from the first day when Sam Walton opened stores in rural America was to save people money and help people live better lives. That is the exact same purpose that Walmart has 60 years later. That doesn't mean that we haven't changed in how we approach that in 60 years. And so I'm just going to take a minute on that before I go specifically to India and Mexico, because we talk about, and this panel is about sustainable, inclusive, and resilient supply chains. That kind of inclusive concept of giving opportunities to those who don't have the opportunities. And that is, you know, in Walmart's, going back to Walmart's finding, that was in rural areas, you know, customers who didn't have the opportunities to shop, Walmart gave them that. And through our history, you know, our early history, it very much was even though we didn't describe it as inclusive, it was a inclusive way in which we operated. And we still do, but we've changed over time. And so I'll give you just two more examples. In 2005, Lee Scott, CEO after Sam Walton, really outlined a vision for Walmart, which was our vision for the 21st century. And that's when Walmart really started leaning into, you know, beyond our customer, beyond our associates, the way we've always thought about, you know, how we serve communities, more broadly. And it included, that's really when Walmart first started on a sustainability journey, but also directly relevant to supply chains. And, you know, what was Walmart's role for developing suppliers? And that we've made a lot of progress on that over the years. And then finally, just 2 years ago, Doug McMillon, our current CEO, you know, really advanced that one more step and made a pledge that Walmart would be a regenerative, a company. And that really means as we are providing value as we see it to customers, to communities, to suppliers, we are also, you know, regenerating, we're replenishing, we're renewing the resources that we use, and that's environment, but it's also people. And it's a long way to get to supply chain, but people are critical to that. So jump into India and Mexico, and I was just in India a couple of weeks ago, and that's a market where, as we think about Walmart's supply chain and what is the best supply chain to be resilient, to manage through disruptions like we've had, or disruptions like we're going to see, even if we might not know what they are yet, the best supply chain is one that is diverse, that's resilient. India is a key part of that for us. It's a pretty big sourcing market for us now, but we've made a commitment to triple our sourcing out of India to $10 billion a year. The only way that's going to happen in India is if we grow our supplier base, and it's not just we've got relationships with big suppliers, but it's small suppliers, it's medium-sized suppliers, it's there's a lot of really good women-owned businesses in India. But we as Walmart have to invest in them to connect them with supply chains. And so, we've got a number of programs. One of them we call our Vriddhi Supplier Development Program, in which we're training 50,000 small and medium-sized businesses on, they've got great products. What do they need? What are the digital capabilities? What's the expertise? What's the know-how? So they can connect into supply chains, whether that's domestic supply chains in India, global supply chains, our competitors' supply chains, and we've got a number of things like that, but where our investments, and we're already seeing where it pays off, because it, and of course the effects beyond that in job creation and what it does for communities where we operate. Mexico similarly, and again with as I said, with the Powered by Walmart, each market looks different in how we do it, but each market, a commonality is that Powered by Walmart. What can we do to train, upskill, connect businesses into supply chains, particularly the small and medium-sized businesses who have products that our customers want to buy, but we've got to help make those connections into the supply chain.
And let's talk a little bit about those connections. You really have to make sure that, especially you just described markets in India, in Mexico, where there is a strong tradition of local business, local communities. So how you help your new suppliers, to put it like that, to come on board? and to start seeing also the opportunity to seize the moment to be part of the global chain, yet maintain their commonalities, as you said it, and then also their culture.
Yeah, no, it's exactly right. And it's, there are very good small suppliers or potential small suppliers that may stay small, and they may have a product that is very relevant to our customer, that we can help identify the opportunity. We can link the product with the customer, and then we've got obviously high standards, so how can we get that supplier up where they've got the standards, and again, the capabilities, if it's a digital capability, if it's something like that. But there's also some of those small suppliers who maybe will become big suppliers. So that's one. And then two, it's one great thing about our business, and in most markets, it's again different markets, but we describe it as omni-channel. So it's essentially, we've traditionally been a stores business. E-commerce is so much a part of the experience now. What Walmart is, our strategy is to bring all of that together. So if you're a customer, whether you want to shop in a store, have it delivered, pick it up, whatever, and our suppliers play directly into that. So we can give multiple paths for a supplier into our supply chain. Maybe it's for global export, so a product can be sold in any market where we operate, or maybe it's locally. So where we, another thing people don't always realize about Walmart is, take Mexico. 80 to 90% of what we sell in Mexico is sourced in Mexico. Fill in the blank, any given market, it's the same. US, it's a little lower. It's about 2/3 of what we sell here is sourced here. But so maybe it's just domestic, linking suppliers into just that local market and not for export. Or maybe in markets like the US, like India, where we have a e-commerce marketplace. Maybe it's not, maybe it's just selling through the marketplace. So it's giving them the capabilities, but also providing multiple paths to enter supply chains. And if they can enter ours, they probably, can enter other supply chains of competitors or others, and we think that's great.
Well, that's wonderful. And in this last segment, Paul, when you talk about sustainability, that really recognizes the role of supply chains, the role that they play in the transition to a clean and social just economy, what is really an inclusive and sustainable supply chain for Walmart?
Yeah, no question. And you can't have everything that I've been talking about without the sustainability piece of it. So we want all these suppliers we talked about. Like I said, it's about giving them access, but it's also about giving them tools. So if we think of environmental sustainability, huge priority for Walmart. We've got a lot of work we're doing that we don't have time to go over here. But we're not just doing it for our own operations. We want to bring our suppliers with us. So part of it is, we've got financing mechanisms where we can help our suppliers become more environmentally sustainable suppliers, which there are costs associated with that. And so we've got mechanisms where we can, help with the financing, or if they enter into some of our, help us with our sustainability commitments, which that's where the impact is. We can make an impact in our operations, but we've got thousands of suppliers. We work with, thousands of factories. We move hundreds of thousands of loads of cargo a year. That's where we can make a difference, and in partnership with our suppliers, again, that's where we'll have real impact on sustainability, regardless of how you define sustainability.
And we're in the UNGA, the UN General Assembly, where the SDGs certainly take an important part. And you just mentioned something very beautiful. You just want to bring all those suppliers to leave no one behind and to make them part of the globalization.
Yep.
And one of the things that, let's talk about real quick about inclusivity. Just a couple of words on how you make sure also that inclusivity takes shape in a final product whenever we go to Walmart.
Yeah, I mean, it's the inclusivity is, it's the, it's the access to, and it's the access to for whoever is, any part of that process. And, the journey is to bring everybody along with us as we're doing that.
And that is wonderful. And well, I think that we have seen why supply chain are strategic and why they go from the grocery store in Mexico, in India, to the boardroom. So thank you very much, Paul.
Thank you.